all for recovery out at the North Spit here in North Bend. I got the Jeep loaded up, headed out. I got a couple of people on standby if we need them. I don't know that we will. I don't actually even know what kind of rig it is. Just kind of in a hurry. They're chasing the tide like normal out there. These people take big old, 3/4 ton trucks. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but that's what we find most often is 3/4 ton trucks that are out there just buried to the frame in the shrimp beds. Stuff is like quicksand, and you see people like in the last one, the one that we did at night, you see people shoveling, but from out underneath the tire, but all shoveling does is sink the vehicle lower and lower and lower. And it gets to a point where it's just resting on the frame, and the frame is the only thing, the frame's what's keeping it up. Because again, it's like quicksand. It's not like regular sand where you can dig it out, and then you can dig out from underneath your frame or your tires and get onto like actual solid ground, because it just fills in. It's so wet that it just fills in. Anywhere. The general rule of thumb is if the tide ever touches it, at all commonly, especially during high tide every day, you don't want to be in there, because although the tide's out, it's still soaked. It's still saturated sand, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, we're gonna head out there, about a 10-minute drive, and we'll see if we can't find them and get them out. I grabbed water this time. I always forget water, and any somewhat high stress situation, which I do this all the time, and I'm not worried about breaking something or getting stuck, but regardless, it's still a stressful situation when you're trying to help someone out like this. But it always dries my mouth out. It makes me really dehydrated, and I don't know why. But so I always like, man, I should have brought some water on this trip, and finally brought some. So got some in the back, and it's about a 10-minute drive. The longest part's just getting out of town through all these freaking lights. Once we're out on the highway, it's not that far. I still don't have a flag on this thing. I always forget. I don't think that they really give a shit about having one where we're going. A bunch of cops at top. get you guys unstuck.
Yes, sir.
I was like, you need a winch. We tried.
Yeah, you're gonna belly.
All right, got it all out. It was, as you guys could tell, it was a blue Durango, early 2000s, and just probably going to turn around. And he said that he just felt that one tire sink. He said that he was out on the sand quite a bit, but not from here, and I'm sure not used to trim beds. Man, they get you. So yeah, not too bad. It was stuck pretty good. You made it sound like it hadn't been there very long, but man, that stuff, it suctions it down really, really hard, and that's why it's so hard to get out. That's why a kinetic rope, which is what I use out on like the dunes, doesn't work out here. The kinetic rope, at least with this vehicle, isn't enough to break that suction. If I put it behind like my truck or something, with more, got more momentum behind it, I might have a better shot. But I have yet with the kinetic rope to get anybody out of the front bed. It's just so suction down in there. You need the winch and you need all of it. That was snatch blocked back. So that was 16,000 pounds. It's an 8,000 pound winch, so 16,000 pounds of force to get it out. It's pretty crazy. The 4Runner actually has a 20,000 pound or 10,000 pound winch on it, but I was having issues with it on that diesel recovery. I had driven just the 4Runner out here, and the voltage was dropping super, super low, and it wasn't coming back fast enough, and you could tell that it's a newer born VR10, VR Evo 10, or whatever the newer one is. It's only a couple months old. And so I think that one's made in China. I don't know if that has anything. This one's got an older worn M8000 on it. I really want to put a worn M12000 on it with a different bumper. We haven't done that yet. But I mean, this one has gotten everything I've hooked up to it out. It just doesn't care. And the 4Runner one, which wasn't cutting it. But since then, I put a new alternator, a Group 31 battery, which is a commercial size, like semi battery. Semi normally has multiple of them, but it's a huge battery. It's one of the biggest group sizes. If you know anything about batteries, you think about like a Group 65 for a diesel pickup. Almost all Ford trucks use a Group 65, but all the Ford diesels use two Group 65s because they're so big. Well, this is bigger than one of those. So, and it's an AGM, it's an Odyssey. So I'm hoping now that I'll have better luck. I really want to come out here with both vehicles again on the next recovery and try it and see what the voltage is doing, and seeing if I'm still gonna have an issue with that. But yeah, I put a bigger GM alternator on it. It's like a 200 amp when it had like a 70 amp on it, and then that big battery being an AGM, I'm thinking I won't have any issues on it. I had an issue with this with the Jeep when I first started doing recoveries, almost 8 or 9 years ago at this point, where it wouldn't keep up. The winch just would stop pulling. It stopped adding force to it. Well before the 8,000 pound max. I was with a different one. It was a worn M8000, but even older. It uses the actual contactor style, not the newer ones, the solenoid packs. But anyway, it turned out that it was the battery. It just wasn't enough, and then it would draw it down so low that the electricals in this would start freaking out. It was a whole ordeal. But anyway, I put an Optima Group 34 in this, and I've never had an issue since. Anyway, all done. I got a dinner to get to, so we're kind of in a hurry getting out of here. But yeah, he's headed back to camp, so he's gonna cook up some steak. Pretty cool guy. Again, glad to get him helped out, get him out of there. We're on to the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.